Hi, I'm Kelly Harris with BrassyBrown.com. Today, my guest is Sarah Webb, and she is the editor of a new book called Colorism Poems. Sarah, welcome to BrassyBrown.com today.
Thank
How
you.
are you?
Thank you. I'm doing great.
Good. Thanks for coming on with us. So, tell us a little bit about yourself before we get into the project.
Okay, so I'm currently a PhD student at LSU, but I've been blogging since 2011, and I started the site Colorism Healing in 2013 to address colorism in the Black community and among communities of color.
And so, Sarah, this new book just came out. It is hot off the presses.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about the process of the book, how the book came about. You put a lot of sweat, tears, and equity into this book. I know how that can be. So just tell us a little bit about how this came to be, the process, and where we can get it.
Okay. So the book is an anthology of poems that people have submitted over the past couple of years to my annual writing contest on the theme of colorism. So some people who won the competition based on the judges' opinions, and then also a few writers that I selected that I thought were worthy of being in the book. I've compiled them here in print. And it's, when I first started the blog, I noticed that people were looking for poetry that uplifted Black women, uplifted women of color. And a lot of people want to recite poetry, and they're looking for pieces. And so I thought having a book where it would be easy to find and access poems that deal specifically with issues of colorism would be useful and helpful. So I worked with a copy editor and a cover artist who happens to be one of my good friends, Camille Hoffman, who did the painting that you see on the cover. And then I used a platform called CreateSpace, and I published the book in January 2017. So it's available on Amazon now. And if you're in the Louisiana area, you can also buy print copies directly from me.
So colorism, you talked about many people wanting to do poetry, wanting to recite poetry, but this is a very drilled down theme, a very heavy theme, a very traumatic theme for many people that has a lot of hurt, frustration, pain with the issue of colorism. So can you talk a little bit about that and how you decided or arrived or was pushed or provoked into talking about or writing about colorism?
Yeah, so colorism, for people who might not have heard the term, refers to discrimination or prejudice based on how light or dark someone's skin might be, even if they're of the same race. So a lot of people in the Black community, for example, have experienced that. I've experienced it. I've witnessed it happening to other people. But I never really talked about it, never really worked on it or read about it. But when I was teaching high school, I had started a blog, and I was writing about my experiences as a high school teacher. And one of those experiences was hearing my 9th grade students at the time talking about skin tone in a very derogatory way, particularly dark skin tones. And I couldn't accept the fact that this issue would infect yet another generation of my people. So as a writer, I decided to dedicate a blog, a website to dealing with colorism. And so that's why and I think the reason why I focus on healing is precisely because of what you said. Like, other people might talk about colorism in terms of like what happens to you or what it is, or some celebrity said something crazy, and so now we're going to debate about it. But there wasn't at the time in 2013 a substantial space where people can just focus on healing themselves.
Okay. And so how do we do that? Because there's so many layers to colorism. Okay. Sometimes it's most times it's a combination of systematic oppression, internalized oppression, your mama, your daddy, somebody said to you, treated you, excluded you, all of those things. So sometimes I'm leery when I hear people slap healing on stuff because, and that's no offense to the project, but because you see it so much. And I think healing is definitely the desired outcome, but the process to get there is so long. Sorry, y'all, that's my 4-year-old in the back. But the process is so long for getting to healing. So
Right.
can you talk a little bit about how do you think poetry can be used as a vehicle for healing when it comes to colorism?
Yeah. So in the book, in the introduction to the book, I quote Bell Hooks as saying, "Healing begins when we speak the truth of our lives." And so one of my core values in dealing with colorism is the issue of honesty and bearing witness to other people's truth. So having the courage to first speak your truth. Because again, like I said, I never really talked about colorism. It's often considered a taboo topic. And so just to blog about it for the first time was a frightening experience, like having the courage to tell my truth. And when I did, I had people react in very angry ways. I had people, Facebook friends, pretty much cursing me out on Facebook, right? And so there was a lot of fear about speaking our truths because people have reacted negatively to us when we have. So I think the first step is to have the courage to speak your truth and to be honest with yourself, right? About the fact that it does hurt. Because we can't heal our wounds until we acknowledge them and say that, yes, they're there, and examine what they are. And I think compassion. So a lot of times our colorism experiences depends on how we grew up. I grew up with a light-skinned sister and a light-skinned mother, and I'm very close to both of them. So they're my best friends. And so I was fortunate in that sense, you know, to not grow up in a household where there was animosity between skin tones. So I was able to have compassion for my light-skinned sisters, you know, that I met later on in life. So I think learning to develop that compassion, and again, we do it by taking the time to listen to people's truths. I think that's important. And then I agree with you that the process is long and it's also recursive. So we keep having to cycle back, right? You can't just like read a book once and think we're done and healed forever. It's something that we have to continue to work on.
Would you like to read one of the poems out of the new book for us?
Okay. Let's see. So one of the things about this book is that it's a very multicultural book, which I appreciate because some people think that it's just an African American problem, but it does cross all ethnicities. It's one of my favorite pieces, if I can find it. Here it is. It's called "The Blacker the Berry" by Kiki Nicole.
Okay.
And it deals with an issue that a lot of people face where they say they're kind of in the middle. So some people say, well, I'm not very dark, I'm also not very light. So "The Blacker the Berry" by Kiki Nicole. Whiteness becomes you, wants to eat you, stays hungry. I see the way they be looking at me, grasping at the flesh of me. It dreams of drinking from my middle passage, stays thirsty. 2. What are you? He asks. Black, black, black. Negro mixed with Negro, black. You're too pretty to be all black. There is a privilege in pretty, in a skin that matches the paper bag, in a body so far removed from the diaspora, you almost forget it is there. 3. There is a science to becoming, to become more palatable, less recognizable, easier to swallow whole. 4. I see the way they be looking at me, want to eat me only when there are no other options on the table, want me only when she's not around, want her more, craves a red bone, something to cleanse the palate after me. All of my friends are lighter than me. 5. As they ripen, blackberries become less green, sweeter, softer, blacker. 6. This skin means nothing. This skin means sin. This skin means kin. This skin means in. This skin is death. This skin is tired of being this skin. You're tired of being. Your skin is tired of being your skin. You are tired of being your skin. You are tired of being you. Are tired of you. 7. So this is how it begins.
Thank you. The author again, the poet again.
Kiki Nicole.
Kiki Nicole. So check her out as well. Sarah, is there any last words you would like to say?
Just a reminder that it's available on Amazon, and the contest for 2017 is underway. The deadline is June 31st. So if you're interested in submitting to the contest and possibly being featured in the next anthology, then you can submit at colorismhealing.org.
Colorismhealing.org is the website. Sarah Webb is the editor. Sarah, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
We hope that you enjoyed our segment and that you will continue to do your work, and that you all out there will continue to do the work that inspires you, whatever it is. Thank you. Have a great one. Thanks. Bye-bye.